let me talk about another book really quick before we get to the top of our pile. I read The Space Between #1. This is by Corinna Bechko, art by Danny Luckert. Nick pitched this last week on the show, and I was totally sold on it. This flew under my radar, and man, I really, really loved it. The basic idea of this series is it's an anthology where each issue follows a different pair of people as they go about living in a far-flung, realistic sci-fi future, and they deal with love and survival and liberation and like what does classism look like in the future? What does love look like in the future when like humanity has moved beyond living on Earth, right? It's a really cool book. The first issue is quick to kind of push the narrative forward, but I feel like with a limited page count, it kind of works well enough. The strangers to friends to more than that ? You really should read it to find out. It's pretty cute. Bechko manages to tell like a really simple romantic story in an unbelievably rich world without like bogging you down with too many details of the world. There isn't a lot of exposition dump. There isn't a lot of lore dumping. You get little bits and pieces of information based on communication between people. You get a stranger from a different world, and in heavy quotes, that falls into this new world and doesn't understand how things are, truly asking questions. Well, above we do this and below you do this. Like there's that kind of thing, which is nice. There's like I don't know. I feel like there's a very small middle ground in anthology comics, especially some that like share a universe where there's like a bombardment of information or not enough information to feel connected. And like Bechko manages to land right in that perfect middle ground spot to try to get you invested in the characters as well as the world that all of these stories, I believe, are going to take place in, without, again, lore dumping. It's an impressive feat. She's clearly a master at it. Meanwhile, Luckhart's art is very fun. It's almost stereotypically Star Trek or Expanse or Alien or gritty sci-fi in like how heavy the line work is. And I think if you've ever read any of the more modern Star Trek or Alien or Expanse books, you know what I mean. Like there's something about this realistic sci-fi thing that happens where there's just a ton of really heavy line work, and not a lot of shading, and the color palettes are usually kind of muted. And I feel like that's exactly what happens in this book. And it's not bad, but I think page 1, if you've experienced any of those other types of books, you know exactly what kind of story you're getting into. So me diving in, having read books like that kind, I knew exactly like the vibe that this book was going for with its line work and its color palette and stuff. This is like, it clicked immediately as being a realistic sci-fi. So, it's very immersive. Like the opening scene of this book is really cool. There's a heavy action scene that like really roots you into what our main character is going through and what she's trying to accomplish. And the action is very, very well done. So if you're looking for a nice sci-fi book, I think this is a cool one to pick up. Probably will be good as a trade, as just like a quick anthology that takes place over a series of issues about characters. But honestly, just as a one-off, if you're just like looking for a random book, like this one's perfect, because you get a whole story one and done, and that's it. And if you pick up the next ones, maybe it'll minorly connect because it's in the same universe, but it's not, I think, important for you to have read the first issue. So that's kind of cool. Yeah.